स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It has many instructions for spiritual aspirants to realize the truth. Today's topic I have chosen self-effort and grace. Self-effort is really necessary, but then grace also is important. So the self-effort leads us to realize the significance of grace. Without grace, we won't achieve anything. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, you may try thousands of times, but nothing can be achieved without God's grace. One cannot see God without His grace. Is it an easy thing to receive grace? There is a way. Sri Ramakrishna tells one must altogether give up egotism. One cannot see God as long as one feels, I am the doer. God doesn't easily appear in the heart of a man who feels himself to be his own master. But God can be seen the moment His grace descends. Realization depends on God's grace. Without it, mere worship and prayer do not help at all. Therefore, one should take refuge in Him. Prayer, worship, selfless activity, all these are very important to purify our heart. Once the heart is purified, it is ready to receive God's grace. That means you will be able to recognize the immense value of God's grace. There is a link between self-effort and grace. What is taken to be self-effort when the individual ego is raw, becomes self-effort abetted by grace when the ego ripens, and vanishes in grace when the ego is completely effaced. There are many incidents in the scriptures to illustrate this transmutation. Scriptures are full of life stories, saints and sages. How many spiritual aspirants have struggled and struggled, and how they did realize the truth. Sri Ramakrishna had to practice 12 long years in deep meditation, prayer and worship. So one has to put maximum self-effort. There is no room for idleness. There is no room for laziness. There is no room for carelessness. One has to be very smart and upright. So when we study these life stories of Mahatmas, holy people, we get inspired to make effort earnestly. Everything comes all right only if we are sincerely aspiring to realize the truth. So strong aspiration, determined aspiration, unshakable aspiration is very, very important in spiritual life. Grace versus self-effort has been a problem puzzling the philosophers down the ages, and it promises to remain so for all time, for it is a problem that cannot be solved by philosophers. Each person has to find his or her own solution through age and experience. By the time one withdraws from the fighting front, others join the battle. It is a fight between the raw man and the mature man. As Emerson puts it, every man is a socialist in the morning and conservative in the evening. The very fact that man is mortal is proof positive that self-effort is fighting a losing battle, for no man willingly surrenders the breath of life. Only a man of age and experience can have this view of life. A young man with warm blood rushing through his veins is sure to contradict this. But life being a one-way traffic, he also in the evening of his life will concede that self-effort is limited in scope and that there is something beyond man directing his destinies. And do we have any hand in coming into this world, or any choice regarding circumstances? If we have no choice, if we have no voice in the matter of entry into and exit from this world, what are we to make of man's claim to supremacy? If ultimately self-effort is a sinking ship, pray, why is man set to sail in it? The ultimate answer to the question is that it is God's sweet will. But that will need not be capricious. True, He is the master and captain of the ship. He has assigned to each of the crew a certain duty. In order that each may perform his allotted duty and feel a sense of participation in the expedition, each is given a sense of freedom. A sense of freedom and accountability is essential to keep man on the right course. Finally, we will find that even that sense of freedom is a gift of God. When that sense dawns, one will find that grace and self-effort are not contradictory but complementary. This is a lesson that each man has to learn for himself. So, there are many innumerable instances to illustrate the supremacy of grace in our ancient lore. There's a famous Upanishad which deals with the knowledge of the Atman, Vedanta. The name of that Upanishad is Kena Upanishad. There, the Devas, that means ordinary Devas, you may call them angels, who got into those bodies, who got into celestial bodies on account of their merits done in their lives on this earth plane. So they are given a higher birth to enjoy, to be more happy in the heaven. But then that's not the ultimate happiness. That's only temporary. You got into that happiness because you did some merit and you got the reward. As soon as the merit is over, you are pushed down again on into this earth. This coming back and forth on this earth continues until and unless you realize the Supreme Divine Being, the all-pervading consciousness. So, in that Kena Upanishad, there is an episode. There was a battle between the two forces. One is the Devatas representing grace, and the demons representing self-effort. Very often, the Devatas are no better than their rivals, and yet we find that Devatas gaining final victory. How do they accomplish it? Not through their own power. When they are thoroughly beaten by the demons, they run to the abode of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, and seek His grace and succor. The Lord helps them. The demons, on the other hand, will never invoke the aid of any divine agency. They may propitiate the Devatas to attain prowess. For the rest, they rely on themselves. And that is why, in spite of their great achievements, they finally fail. Now, the Devatas also learned their lesson through bitter experience. When the fight was on between the Devatas and the Asuras, the Supreme Brahman won a battle for the Devatas against the Asuras. The Devatas took the credit for themselves. They became boastful. They began to praise themselves for the victory. In order to teach them the truth, the Supreme Being appeared before them all of a sudden as an incomprehensible spirit. A mysterious spirit came there. The Devatas were flabbergasted at this apparition. They deputed their leaders, Agni and Vayu, fire and air, to find out what that strange phenomenon was. First, the Agni went. As soon as it approached the mysterious spirit, it ordered him to stop. And it asked him, "Who are you?" What's your nature? He said boastfully, I am fire, Agni. I can burn anything. That is my power. Oh, is it so? You are so powerful. Let me see how you burn this. He put a piece of straw on the earth, on the ground. And he told him, that spirit told him, well, please burn this straw. And the fire tried its best, with maximum ferociousness. It began to burn the straw, but it could not do it. It terribly failed. He became ashamed. He returned. He could not do the job. Then Vayu was sent, the wind god. Again he was stopped. Again the spirit asked him to introduce who he was. And he said, I am Vayu. I can blow up anything on this earth. Please blow up this straw. And when the wind tried to blow up that piece of straw, it could not do it. Though he tried and tried, miserably he failed. Then he also returned shamefully. Then Indra, the king of the Devatas, himself went forth, whereupon that mysterious spirit suddenly disappeared without vouchsafing even an interview. Then Indra saw a charming maiden, Uma, the daughter of Mount Himavan, the consort of Lord Shiva. Then Indra asked her about the spirit, and she instructed him that it was Supreme Brahman, and that it was his victory that you were all gloating over. Then the Devatas learnt their lesson. They became humble. They realized it is not their power that brought them victory, but it is the grace of the Supreme Brahman that brought them victory. So they learnt. Again, the main message of the Mahabharata, another famous epic, is the ultimate victory of grace. The great epic is also known as Jaya, victory. Victory of what? Victory of grace over human boast and ambition. Of the two contending factions, the Kauravas relied on their superior force in men, material and leadership to crush the Pandavas. The Pandavas, though outnumbered on every count, had Krishna as their guide and God. The final advice that Krishna gave to Arjun in the Gita was to take refuge in him, leaving behind everything else. The Pandavas followed his advice and won the war. It was a victory of divine grace over material might. There is another instance. Karna, a great character in the Mahabharata, born as the son of the sun god by Kunti, brought up as the offspring of an obscure equestrian, well accomplished in the art of war, befriended by Duryodhan and crowned king of Anga by him, noble and generous to a fault. Karna declined the call of Krishna to follow him to join his brothers. Karna rose to the highest pinnacle of human glory. Arjun would not have been a match for him at the human level, Karna set more store by manly dignity than divine dispensation and met with a cruel fate. Sanjaya, who regularly reported to Dhritarashtra the progress of the war between Kauravas and Pandavas, on the last day burst into the king's presence wailing wildly and announced the death of Shalya and Duryodhana. In that connection, Sanjaya makes this statement: I think fate is all powerful. Human effort is of no avail. Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all as powerful as Indra, have been destroyed by the Pandavas. As seen during the war, Drona was done to death. Vyasa wandered into the war field. Arjun asked of him, I aim my arrows at the enemies. I find a shining person with a trident in hand striding ahead of my arrows. Whichever way he turns, the enemies get killed. People think I killed them. He does the killing and I follow him. He shines like the sun. He does not touch the ground. The trident never leaves his hand. Thousands of tridents issue from the one in his hand. Pray tell me, who is that person? Vyasa said, he is the great god Shankar. Take refuge in him. But for his grace, who can ever dream of routing the army led by Ashwatthama, Karna and Kripa? Prostrate before him, O Arjun. Thus Arjun had a vivid vision of the Gita instruction. Be thou an instrument of mine. Nimitta matram bhavasavyasachi. Be an instrument. I do everything. You just be like an instrument. On the battlefield, Arjun became bewildered and took refuge at Krishna's feet and sought his advice. Though Arjun said, guide me who has taken refuge in thee, yet Arjun said, I will not fight. The ego gets a severe jolt in the face of death and destruction. Yet it is struggling to keep up its identity. It is the ego's resistance to the operation of God's will that is at the root of all worry and pain for man. After prolonged counseling, Krishna finally said, abandon all duties, take refuge in me, I assure you your salvation. Grieve not. The human ego was eliminated and the divine will took possession of him. Arjun said, O Lord, by your grace my confusion is gone. I have got back the memory of my true being. My doubts have been dispelled. I will do your bidding. In the Ramayana, we find Ravan trying his level best or worst to thwart the divine dispensation and meeting his dismal doom. Now to come to the Bhagavad, Narada, the celestial sage, the inspirer of Valmiki and Vyasa, the guru of Prahlad and Dhruva, and the disciple of Sanat Kumara, a sage with wide and mature wisdom, tells Vyasa while recounting his early life as the son of a maidservant, the world is like a wooden doll in the hands of God. When Kunti met her kinsman at Samanta Panchaka after the war and bewailed her fate during the dark days, Vasudeva, her brother and Krishna's father, said to her, Dear sister, blame not us, poor puppets in the hands of God. The world is in his hands and it moves according to his wish or is driven according to his will. Vasudeva knew what he was talking about and was not parroting any pious platitude. Once while Arjun was at Dwarka, a Brahmin whose 8 children had died soon after birth, came to Krishna with the dead body of the 9th child and abused Krishna, for according to him, his children died because the ruler was unjust and incompetent. Hearing this, Arjun made a promise to save the next issue, failing which he vowed to burn himself to death. Though the Brahmin was skeptical about Arjuna's competence, he accepted the latter's word and informed him when the time for the next delivery arrived. Arjun took all precautions. To the discomfiture of Arjun and the grief of the Brahmin couple, the next child also disappeared the moment it was born. Arjun searched in hell and in heaven, but in vain. True to his word, Arjun was about to enter the fire to give up his life when Krishna came along and took him to Vaikuntha, where they were cordially received by Lord Vishnu. Vishnu presented to them all the lost sons of the Brahmin. They returned to Dwarka with the boys and restored them to their parents. Seeing the splendor of the world of Vishnu, Arjuna was struck with wonder, and he felt the little freedom that man has is all due to Krishna's grace. This story is there in Bhagavad. Kamsa commissioned Akrur to fetch Krishna and Balrama to Mathur in order to destroy them by some stratagem. Akrura said, "O king, your plot to foil fate is all right, but be equanimous in success or failure, for the fruit is provided by fate." Bhishma, the great grandsir, was lying on the bed of arrows on the battlefield, awaiting the sun's northwest journey. The Pandavas and Krishna visited him. He looked at the Pandavas and bewailed their fate. He said, "The king is the embodiment of virtue. Bhima is wielding the mace. Arjun, the wielder of the Gandhiva bow, is the archer. Krishna is the guide. Yet what a lot of misery." Bhishma concludes therefrom that it is all the work of Kala, another name for fate. Arjun had a very humiliating experience of the futility of his exertions, bereft of Krishna's protecting hand, while escorting the Yadava women through the desert after the total slaughter of their menfolk. See, the Yadava race was wiped out because of some conflict and because they all had become arrogant and boastful. So in their fight among themselves, they all killed themselves. And Krishna was he was leaving this earth plane. All through, Krishna was with Arjun, so Arjun was always full of energy and vigor. And now without Krishna, you can see how Arjun is helpless in every front. The killer of Bhishma and Karna, Arjun, he was overpowered by cowards and all the women were carried away. Arjun reported his experience to Yudhishthira. "O king, I am deprived of the presence of that great Krishna, my beloved friend and guide, and my heart is empty. As I was crossing the sandy wastes, leading all the women, I was overpowered as a weak woman by worthless cattle drivers." Karna, who was keeping away from the battlefield during Bhishma's generalship due to personal pique, he came to visit Bhishma at night and saw that great hero lying on the bed of arrows. On being saluted by Karna, Bhishma received him warmly and advised him to get reconciled with his brothers, the Pandavas. Then the wise man told his proud and noble grandson, "O noble one, it is not possible to foil fate by human exertions." Karna expressed his assent thus, "Who can hope to undo fate by self-effort? As long as the ego rules the roost, it sets at naught grace. When the ego gets hard knocks and gets humbled, it accepts the need of grace. When the ego is at its wit's end, it cries, 'Thy will be done.' First, it is grace versus self-effort. Next, grace and self-effort. The final stage is grace and grace alone. First, it is grace versus self-effort. Next, grace and self-effort. The final stage is grace and grace alone. Bhishma tells Yudhishthira, in case you come across at any time what is called self-effort, you will find on deeper inquiry that self-effort also is rooted in grace. These are the words of wisdom from the wisest of men. Yes, self-effort also is a form of grace. For who is free to be free but God? It is His writ that runs through the entire universe. The most important aim in spiritual life is therefore the attainment of God's grace. The breeze of grace is always blowing. Unfurl your sails. Give up worldly enjoyments and completely resign yourself to the Lord. You can't love God and the world at the same time. If you want God, shun temporal pleasures. Ask yourself, what is it I want? Do I want this fleeting life of transient pleasures, or do I want the eternal bliss of everlasting life? When a person has renounced all worldly cravings and regards God as his own, God is very near. Such a person binds God to him with the fetters of love. Think of God as your very own. Pray to Him, O Lord, reveal yourself to me. God cannot remain unmoved by the pleas of such a devotee. He hastens to him and takes him in his arms. Oh, how inexpressible is that joy! How boundless that bliss! Only he can know who has had that experience, compared to which all worldly pleasures seem insipid and worthless. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, he who has given up sense enjoyments for God's sake has already covered 3 parts of the journey. Is it easy to renounce bodily cravings? Only if one has God's grace and has practiced severe spiritual disciplines in past lives can he have the strength to renounce the world in this life. Purify your mind so that no worldly desire can arise in it. These worldly desires, they are the great hurdles in our spiritual pursuit. So if you are choosing the spiritual path, if you are trying to realize the spiritual goal, then all these hurdles must be removed from the spiritual path. So constantly you must become aware of the divine. Think of him constantly. Repeat the divine name constantly. Love him with whole heart and soul. All the abstractions will be cleared off by the grace of God. You will recognize God's grace if you are concentratedly focusing on the divine. If your mind is occupied with spiritual ideas, if your life is engaged in spiritual activities, they pave the way for realizing God's grace in your life. When you have the vision of God, you are overwhelmed. Spontaneously you will pray, "O Lord, how tremendously you are gracious." Whatever effort we make, it is not sufficient. Finally, God Himself blesses us through His grace. And then you will realize everything is done by the will of God. Everything is done by the will of God. That's a fact. So, what is needed is, you must maintain the purity level, try to practice some spiritual disciplines, standard spiritual disciplines, have unshakable faith in your chosen deity. Don't waste time in unnecessarily criticizing others or debating. Just concentrate on your spiritual practices and be contented with those disciplines, and when the time comes, you will realize the truth and you become blessed. Page 808. A devotee said to Narendra, "Will you sing that one, O Mother, thou my inner guide, ever awake within my heart?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oh no, why that song now? The proper thing now is to sing of divine bliss. A song like, O Mother Shyama, full of the waves of drunkenness divine." Narendra sang, "O Mother Shyama, full of the waves of drunkenness divine, who knows how thou dost sport in the world? Thy fun and frolic, and thy glances put to shame the gods of love. O wielder of the sword, O thou of terrifying face, the earth itself is shaken under thy leaps and strides. O thou abode of the three gunas, O Redeemer, fearsome one, thou who art the consort of Shiva. Many the forms thou dost assume, fulfilling thy bhaktas' prayers. Thou dancest in the lotus of the heart, O Mother, eternal consort of Brahman." Full of divine ecstasy, Narendra sang again and again the lines, "Thou dancest in the lotus of the heart, O Mother, eternal consort of Brahman." Sri Ramakrishna was dancing, drunk with divine love, and he sang again and again, "O Mother, eternal consort of Brahman." After dancing a long time, Sri Ramakrishna resumed his seat. He was very much pleased to see Narendra in a spiritual mood, singing with tears in his eyes. It was about 9 o'clock in the evening. The devotees still sat around the master. Vaishnavacharans sang about Gauranga, the beautiful Gauranga, the youthful dancer, fair as molten gold. Next he sang about Sri Krishna. Krishna had left his pastoral life in Vrindavan and become the king of Mathura. A gopi met him there and said, "O Hari, how shall we know you now? In Mathura's royal splendor, you have forgotten us. Now in your kingly robes, you ride an elephant. Have you utterly forgotten how in Vrindavan you tended cows? O Hari, have you forgotten how you would steal the butter from the Braja's innocent gopi maids?" About 11 o'clock, the devotees saluted the master and were departing one by one. Master said, "You may all go," pointing to Narendra and the younger Naren. "It will be enough if these two stay." To Girish, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Will you eat your supper at home? You may stay a few minutes if you want to." "You want a smoke?" But Balram's servant is just like his master. Ask him for a smoke. He won't give it. I'll laugh. But don't go away without having your smoke. Girish had brought with him a bespectacled friend. The latter observed all these things and left the place. Sri Ramakrishna said to Girish, "I say this to you and to everyone. Please do not force anybody to come here. Nothing happens except at the right time." Before leaving, a devotee saluted the master. He had a young boy with him. Sri Ramakrishna said to him affectionately, "It is getting late and we have this boy with you." Narendra, the younger Naren, and a few other devotees stayed a while and then took their leave. We shall stop here. Any question is welcome. You can ask any question you want to ask. What is the question? Yeah, self-effort must be done with proper understanding, and self-effort leads to grace if the ego is not bloated. If you think, "I am the doer of everything, why should we bring God's name? Why God is required?" So, that kind of thinking should not be there. If that is there, then a person gets into trouble. And when he gets into trouble, when he gets into crisis, he collapses. But if a person always feels that it is God giving him that power to do the things, with that attitude, if he keeps doing things, even he also may come across difficult situations, circumstances, crisis, but still he'll be able to bear them all because he places his faith is firm in the divine, and that gives him tremendous strength to bear with all the situations. And then he feels how God is ever gracious to him, and in fact things happen not according to what we want all the time. Things happen in their own way, but if you still are unshaken in your faith, that means you are becoming more and more strong. So, that's a test of your strength also. You must not succumb to the circumstances. You must not yield to the situations, but you must walk over them. In order to do that, you must have tremendous faith, love and devotion towards the divine. That makes you more and more peaceful inside. Though outwardly you seem to be very active, inwardly you are very peaceful. That means you are not exhausted. And that spiritual strength you built up. The building up of that spiritual strength is done by God's grace. So, if you are not be egoistic, then self-effort paves the way for grace. You will be able to understand grace, how God's power is working, and you will be immensely joyful in that state. The wind is blowing, but if the boat is not released, if the anchor is not raised, then even though the wind is favorable for the movement of boat, you are not able to make use of that. It's just like that. So though God's grace is there, we are not able to recognize God's grace because of egotism, arrogance, boastfulness, all such things. Yeah, you must not be too much important to yourself. That means whatever you do, you offer it to God, and then you do the things, and that way you will be doing correctly also. Of course, your character should be well established in a proper way. That is, you must be well established in virtues, nobility. All these things are important. The way how you do the things, there should be efficiency and also tremendous devotion in your work. All these things are helpful for building up spiritual personality. Spiritual personality means you try to always be, you try to maintain the level of purity, always trying to spread loving vibrations, not hating anyone, not criticizing anyone, thinking of the divine all the time. So this is the way to maintain the character. With the character well established, mind also can think properly in a nice way. If the mind goes in a different way, then you become miserable. You are not happy, you are not contented. All the time you will be in stress and strain. All these things happen. So negative forces occupy your mind, so you become more miserable and suffer because of that. You must be very discriminating and thoughtful in your actions, in your thinking and doing. That's the way how we should conduct ourselves. So please read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It contains all the teachings required for spiritual life. Even though you are in the world, we are all in the world only, we are not outside the world. But how you conduct your life, that is important. That's all. Love everyone. That's the basic quality. Never hate anyone. Never criticize anybody. So that way you have to build up your moral stature. Then you will understand everything slowly. And at the same time, you must keep on reading the scriptures which are helpful for your spiritual growth. There are lots of books are there. Every next day, nice book will be coming up in the market. I don't mean you should read all such books. Select the books which are very helpful for your spiritual growth. Select the books which are very authentic after consulting with people who are in the spiritual field. Take the books and read them and follow them. That's all. In order to practice spiritual disciplines, we have got into this body. This human body is got in order to realize the divine, in order to realize the truth. If you don't realize it, then in our next life we don't know whether you will be born as a human being again or will be something else. Who knows? So our actions, they fix our future life. If a person is cruel, brutal, he will be, in his next life, he will not be born as a human being, he will be born as a ferocious animal in the forest. So the doctrine of karma that operates, whoever it is, whatever it does, whatever it thinks, it is translated into action. So always do good, you get the good things. If you do bad, you get the bad things. We are all under the realm of action. So you must know these things properly and act properly. That's all. Any more question? I could stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. Own name streamed down in moonlight and the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in his empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust are the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free, may good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.